A Twist in Time, Chapter 26, She-Ra and the Lost Temple. Escorting the great She-Ra, the Horde soldiers take the royal family to a long-lost temple that was from Mara's time. Tech-Nessa laughs as she uses one of the many pieces of the First One's tech to corrupt the sword and its master, along with the Lion's Eye. With this bioweapon, the Horde could turn any princess evil in the blink of an eye. Next up was the Fire Ruby, one of the most powerful runestones of all. "You won't get away with this, Tech-Nessa." Miaraya's eyes begin to glow as she too begins to lose control of her powers. The corruption was just beginning. The Horde princess smirks, an evil smile on her face, before she goes to the kitten's ear whispering, "But I already have." Miaoryangna's face begins to crack on one side as lava begins to pour out, her eye turning black, pupil a fiery orange. By now the corruption had surpassed much of the princess's inner core, causing destruction in its wake. The Lion's Eye that Catra had along her neck changes to green, as the queen's eyes both turn the same shade of green. Her face shows green through cracks on her skin. Adora has the same problem, but her situation is slightly more severe, as she is now the 8-foot-tall warrior princess She-Ra. Her cracked skin glows with red, as do her eyes. Just as the Horde had intended, these three corrupted beings, more like atomic weapons than actual living, breathing people at this point in time, would break down. Fall of the Great Rebellion after near a millennial year's war. "I won't be a weapon. I won't destroy innocent lives." Miaraya's untainted half tries to fight back, though the corruption seeps in her veins like a snake's venom. Her parents were gone. In their places were two very dark beings. The corruption process had been fulfilled. With them at last, Miaraya tries hard to fight, but is quickly overwhelmed. Her runestone turns completely black before cracking. Both of her eyes are now black as darkness takes a hold of her. Deep within her mind, an innocent Miaraya looks for her mother's as she tries to break free from her mind prison. And that is how you take down the rebellion. Tech-Nessa laughs as she puts her hand under her former best friend's chin to make the princess look her straight in the eye. Miaraya's now corrupted runestone begins to glow as her dark powers, the side of her that she doesn't want anyone to see, finally shows themselves. Purple and black flames form in the dark fire elemental's hands. "I will do as you command, Tech-Nessa. These rebels don't stand a chance." Tech-Nessa beams proudly. Her father would surely see her worth now. Hordak loved his daughter in his own cynical way. After all, she was half cloned from him, and the other half his beloved Entrapta, who carried her for the approximate amount of time of a typical human. She looks at her now hidden weapons. The apocalypse would soon be near. There was no telling what was about to happen to the planet. At this rate, the sky begins to darken. The power from the Lion's Eye and the Fire Ruby. These two runestones were far different from the rest, as they were the twin runestones. They had to be together to work at full power, unlike the rest, who could work individually. "Shadow Weaver will see how much stronger we are than she ever anticipated." The evil queen bellows as twisters begin to form around Etheria. "Yes, mother, we will prove once and for all how destructive we can really be." Evil Miauraya smirks in agreement. Back in the rebellion, the princesses try their hardest to get every last Etherian civilian to safety as hail pours down around the planet. There was a great reason for trying to stop the three destructive beings, as they could wipe out all life of Etheria's surface in mere seconds if the other elementals were not careful. Pearl, along with her mother Mermista, uses water to put out wildfires caused by the very princess they didn't know if they could trust or not. Red lightning comes from the darkened sky as She-Ra lifts her sword. A bright red beam coming from near the Fright Zone. Shadow Weaver uses the powers of the Black Garnet to enhance her dark powers within the confines of the Horde. Princesses and civilians huddle together for safety, as this was a very dark day for Etheria. Apocalyptic events continue to spread across the planet as the Half-Moonian Queen and Princess cannot control their bodies any longer. I'm sorry, my fellow Etherians. I'm sorry, my subjects. I'm sorry, Mother and Mom. I couldn't fight it. I wasn't strong enough. Miauraya's inner self cries as she watches the destruction she has caused, the deaths that followed, as her fire rages. Catra, I love you and our children, but how can I fight this darkness? Adora thinks as her sword is held up against her will. Adora, Marianka, what's happening to us? Catra's mind races within the queen. When all seems lost, a small glimmer of hope comes forth. As the fire ruby begins to glow orange once more, its twin, the lion's eye, flashes as the inner beings begin to take hold of the elements within the runestones. Flymaria, the guardian of the fire ruby, a phoenix, uses their powers to push out the darkness. The guardian of the lion's eye, Aragonia, a multicolored dragon, does the same as she too pushes out the darkness. What was in Adora's runestone was a complete mystery, but the guardian works within the winged beast, works with the other guardians to protect Etheria's magic. Technessa stops laughing when she notices her destruction was coming to a halt. A queen and princess continue to override the dark energy within themselves. Miauraya's fire turns from a deep purple to orange again, as her eyes also respond to the runestone's guardian upon her forehead. Catra looks at her wife and daughter as the three of them nod, turning tables on their captors. Technessa runs for safety as Scorafina picks her up to avoid Miauraya's lava blasts. The Horde thought they had won, but evil never prospers. Are you alright, Mother? I'm sorry for all of this. The princess looks to her mother, the queen, then to her other mom, Adora. It's not your fault, Miauraya. We had no control over what they were planning. Let's just go home and rest. I am tired. Catra sighs, tiredness overwhelming her. First, let's fix this mess. Miauraya's eyes glow, turning to the blonde as she nods. She sends a fresh coat of lava as She-Ra brings life back to Etheria's surface once more. After everything is returned to normal, the three royal family members make the long journey back home.